Okay guys, are you ready for this? What I'm about to show you is very dangerous. Now, I know it'll take a lot to look at, but it is gonna be so worth it. Are you ready? Okay, look at this. Isn't it so cute? All right, we'll get back to that. Now, let's get started. At the beginning of the day, we got on this massive ferry called the Caledonian MacBrayne. It holds like hundreds of people and vehicles and stuff, and it took us across to the island of Mull. Which is all those rolling hills I'm talking about. That's where they are. It's the island of Mull across from us. When we got to the port, we learned that we were on the only double-decker bus to take us across the island. So we were a little excited that we got to be a part of that. Yeah, it was pretty great. Our bus driver, Colin, was hilarious. This little old guy, funny as hell. Oh my god. Every time we go by someone driving, because the roads are so small, he just gives them such shit and be like, ugh. So you just hear that over the PA system. It was so funny. So, on this bus, we did a tour across the island. So we got to learn a little bit of history about it and see some amazing views. And he kept saying like we're such a lucky group because he ran into so many things that not a lot of people see. Perfect weather, that like never happens. It's always cloudy and foggy and raining here. So the fact that it was a beautiful sunny day has been amazing. We've actually had that almost every day, and everyone who's local keeps talking about it. It's a huge thing. After touring through and doing some sightseeing, we landed at a port where we would meet our next ferry, which was a lot smaller. This holds about maybe 100 people. So we load on in with like 3 other cars and go across to the island of Iona. When we got there, we actually got to have lunch in the ruins of a nunnery from 1203. Like that's when it was established. Like that's crazy. So after having a picnic, we went and checked out a couple stores and like little galleries. A really sweet island, like really small, a tiny population. Like I think there were more tourists than locals. So we walked down and we headed to the cemetery of the Iona Abbey. Now this cemetery actually holds like 16 kings. Like it's crazy, and it's actually the known burial ground of the original Macbeth. Like Macbeth featured in the play by Shakespeare. I didn't even know that when I went there. After that, we went through a couple more ruins and I checked out part of the abbey. And then on our way back, we found this little store called the Low Door. It was an older house, but it was tiny. All of the ceilings and door were lowered. So it's like you had to kind of like crawl into the door. And it was adorable. Adorable? You need to stop making these jokes. They're not funny. Anyway, headed back to the port and waited for our third ferry. So we went in and I got to actually feel the ocean. So that was really cool. When our boat finally came in, it was small, like it was very small. And it fit about, I think, 40 or 50 of us. And it took us to Staffa Island, AKA the land of the puffins. On our way there, we actually got to see some really cool wildlife. We saw some rare birds, and we actually ran into 2 whales. We didn't want to stop because we didn't want to spook them, but it was incredible. Like, you don't get to see that all the time. Apparently they never really have that on the tour, so it was really cool for us. Well, after about 45 minutes, we finally got to Staffa. And when you get there, when you first come in, there's these massive caves on the side of the island, like huge. And you come around the corner, and it's like the side of the island, it juts out in stone, but it looks like something out of like Moana. It was rock, but it looked like a wave. Like, just over years, how the water and the rock have formed together. This, like, it's all over the island. Like, it keeps jutting out. It's these massive chunks of rock that look like a wave. And it's perfectly curved and all goes together. Like, I've never seen anything like it. And it was so cool. And then all the rock is layered, almost like hexagons, like on the side of the island, like steps. Speaking of steps, so we get in there and we dock the boat, and the dock leads up to these stairs. I swear to God, stairs are hunting me down. Stairs are made out of old stone, like it's part of the island. And they're all jagged in different sizes and different heights. It's an architectural nightmare. You have to climb up and like curve around stone. But it's like straight up. It's terrifying because all that's saving you is this piece of rope on the side. I just want to shit myself. So we finally get up, and then it leads to these stairs of metal, but it's like pretty much a ladder, so you're going like 90 degrees up these stairs. When you get to the top, it's just rolling hills. Like, it was massive. I didn't realize how big the island was. And so what they tell you when you get there is you have to walk 15 minutes to this pink marker. And when you get there, just stop and get into little groups and go to the edge of the cliff. Now, the cliff is like 100 feet out over the water. But with the moment you get there, you totally forget that. Like, I'm totally afraid of heights. Didn't even question it when I got there. Because the moment you enter, these little black dots in the water see you and just fly up. And these little 8-inch high embodiments of a miracle just land in front of you. We had finally made it to the land of the puffins. So precious and so magical. They were just, oh my God, I don't even know what to say. I'm just gonna put a couple clips in. Just look at these. all spread out on this cliff, and the birds land there so that when they're ready, they can jump down, and they can dive like 40 feet deep into the water to get fish and then come back up and go back to their nest on the edge. See, now they fly to us because puffins are actually terrified of seagulls. And they love humans because they're so tall, they can actually go to them, like expecting us to protect them, which we totally would. And they stay near us so the seagulls don't come towards us. At one point, a seagull actually flew in front of my mom, and 5 of them just lined up, stopped, and stared at it. And it saw us end their stare and just flew away. So we sat down on the edge, and like maybe like a foot or two away from the edge of the cliff, and one of them like ran up to my brother's foot. It was the cutest little run I have ever seen. Oh my God. We just got to watch them, and they're just so precious and loving to humans and each other. Oh my God. Guys. People were actually getting upset because they were all kind of crowding around my brother and I. And I was just like, yeah, I'll become your mom now. Like that's gonna happen. Like that'll happen. We'll make it work. I'm just gonna become one with the island. I had a plan. I wasn't going back. I was just gonna stay there and just be their mom and care for them. Still want to do it. Anyway, sadly, we had to leave, and when we did, everyone just kind of took our spot so that they could see them, and they just all crowded around, and oh my God, I have never seen anything so precious in my life and so adorable. They were 8 inches high. So then we went back through the cliffs and headed down and went to the stairs. Thought I was gonna die. Headed back down to the stairs, and instead of going back to the port, we went on the side of the island because that can take you to the caves. So my dad and I checked out the side of the island and just like the rock work and like how crazy it was. It was really cool. Like you have a side of the rope on the island, and then you have to go along the steps of the rock. And like, oh, it's crazy. Like I've never seen anything like it. Spending some time checking that out, our boat came, so we climbed on and headed back. And on our way back to Mull, we thought it was another, like 2 more whales. So we're like, oh, this is so cool, because we saw 2 fins come out of the water, like one behind the other. Then we realized, nope, that is a fin and a tail, and we realized that it was a shark. On the edge of the water, very Jaws. It was really cool. So we circled around it for a little while, and then when it noticed us, it finally dipped in. But that was crazy. Apparently they never get that. So when we got back to Mull, my brother and I raced a whole bunch of old people to the double-decker so we can get some good seats on top. Yeah, it wasn't our finest hour. So we got our bus, got the seats, yeah. So a little sheep camped up beside the bus. It was hilarious. And then we headed back to the other side of the island to catch the ferry back to Oban. So after our about hour tour across the island, we actually saw some rare white horses, and some Highland cows. That was pretty cool. Of the trip. And so then we head back to Oban and then race to like the Royal Hotel because we had a dinner booked, but it's so busy and popular that they'll, like, if you're late, they'll give your reservation away like that. So we book it from the port, just make it, like, literally, I mean 10 seconds. And so we get a table, and this band comes in. It was 2 accordion players, a drummer, and a bagpiper. And they were amazing. Like, oh my God, they totally livened up the place. And oh, it was incredible. It's crazy to think that that's a regular night here, just all of that kind of music playing, and they're out for a while, and they kept making fun of us because we were Canadian, because we were sitting right in front, so we talked to them for a bit. So sadly, when we had to go, they were all like, oh, like, what are you doing? Like, you Canadians, you wussies, going early. And we're like, we're sorry, we have to go back to our flat. And they're like, oh wait, so you're not even part of the hotel? Oh, you're just a bunch of gate crashers. And oh my God, freaking out. Every one of the restaurants saying bye to us. And so we headed home. And yeah, that was the end of a very crazy day. Definitely one of the top highlights of the trip. I'm just gonna put another clip of the muffins in because it is just so worth it. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Hope you enjoyed. Better have enjoyed this puffins because damn, they're cute. And yeah, all right, well, have a good night, guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.